So when I was there when it was 10, there was no sugar and no oil
Wow.
in the whole country because some idiot at the top didn't know what he was doing. So my first business, because I was always business minded, and there was something in me that was entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? Even though my parents weren't entrepreneurial, which is interesting, because they came from a communist country. So they, in those days, it was Yugoslavia. That's where Macedonia was, and a communist country. They try to break the entrepreneurial spirit out of you.
Right.
You know, the communist way of thinking, the socialist way of thinking, is they want everyone to be the same, everyone get the same pay, we're all equal, blah, 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 blah. Don't try to rise above anyone else, and if you got money, you're a bad person. You know what I mean? There was a big stigma when it comes to money, when it comes to communism.
Obviously it doesn't work because they're not communists anymore.
No, look, they were socialists, not communists, but
Right.
socialism doesn't
But how
work.
long can that actually last in the society?
Look,
before-
you end up with a society of people that are lazy
Yeah.
and people that aren't doing their job. Because I remember when I was 10 years old, we went back. And then it was Yugoslavia. We went there, and you go to a store and people just ignore you because they get paid whether they work or not. So they don't give a shit.
I see that a lot in Australia these days too, though, like with people that are on hourly rates. Like if you walk into like a retail store, for example, they ignore you and are pretty lazy. But whereas places where they've got obviously a base wage, but then they've got that incentive for commission, they actually do really good service. Or if they're the business owners, they are really good at service. And they
Yeah,
say, "Hello, how you going?"
sometimes business owners are hopeless. I've seen some that are really
it
rude.
depends on the place, really.
So with socialism over there, what happens in socialism is it's a very central bureaucracy. So instead of having the market telling you what's going to happen, what happens is someone up top has got a position.
Yeah.
He's in charge of supply and demand, and he goes, okay, we're going to need this much oil this month. That's how much we're importing.
He just picks a number out of the sky.
No, he uses some sort of scientific method. But
Right.
you can't, with capitalism, what's good about capitalism is supply and demand keeps the balance going. So in a
Yeah.
capitalistic society, you've always got supply of what you need.
Yeah.
Where in communism and socialism, you've always got something that's lacking. So when I was there when it was 10, there was no sugar and no oil
Wow.
in the whole country because some idiot at the top didn't know what he was doing. So people were scrounging around to get oil and sugar, and you weren't allowed to import things, and no one's allowed to buy and sell things because that's again illegal.
That's just a recipe for disaster, though.
Oh, look, socialism is a complete recipe for disaster, right? We've learned from the mistakes. We've got to stay away from that crap. You know, capitalism's not perfect, but it is probably the best system we've got at the moment,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is great. I mean, I'd love to see what comes next, which is going to be even better. But the one good thing about capitalism, it's got very strong property rights, and that's why it's so powerful. So entrepreneurship was not in the DNA of my parents at all.